Hello, good day. We will talk about kaning pressurization system on an airplane. So first, atong tanawon ngano ang pressurization is required sa aeroplano. So if we take a helium balloon and buhian, so magsugod na siya saka sa atmosphere. Kung magtan-aw ta sa atmosphere, it is composed of different layers starting from the ground with the troposphere, stratosphere, mesosphere, and the thermosphere. As we go higher sa kaning pressure, ang kaning pressure keeps decreasing. Ang balloon dili makasurvive at the higher altitudes because we will have a high air pressure inside sa balloon and low air pressure outside sa balloon. Ang pressure around sa balloon is called the ambient pressure. But sa reality, the low pressure and sa kaning stratosphere layer itself will cause the balloon to burst due to the CPO pressure difference. Karon, if we send a human to this altitude, ang result ana would be the same like sa kaning balloon. Since the ambient pressures are too low, hence we have one reason kung ano ang pressurization is require. Ang human body cannot survive or cannot withstand sa low pressures. Another reason is that as we go higher up from the ground level, ang density of air reduces and lead that the oxygen content in the air decreases. Ang pasabot ani is that ang number sa oxygen molecules sa hangin will reduce as the altitude increases. So, another reason kung ano ang pressurization is required is ang lack sa oxygen available para makahingos sa higher nga altitudes. Kung ato i-consider ang jet aircraft, they usually fly in this range, which is called as the aircraft's cruising altitude. Kaning cruising altitude will be between 33,000 feet and 40,000 feet. So gipili ni nga altitude so that there is less fuel consumption as there is less drag and most of the weather changes and turbulence can be avoided. At the cruising altitude, ang ambient pressure is too low and there is a lack of oxygen, so pressurization of the aircraft becomes mandatory. Ang pressurization system sa aircraft will pressurize the cockpit and the aircraft computer bay, the cabin, the forward and the aft cargo compartments. Pressurization is done by taking air from the engine, which is cooled in the air conditioning system and distributed inside the aircraft. Ang odds sa aircraft is controlled by an outflow valve. Atong tanawon ang outflow valve and ang iyang more nga detail. Kung ang outflow valve mo abli, ang air inside sa aircraft will escape and the pressure inside sa aircraft will decrease. Kung ang outflow valve mo sirado, ang hangin will be trapped sulod sa aircraft causing sa kaning mga pressure to increase. Ang outflow valve will open or close depending on the phases of flight. Sa ground, ang outflow valve is fully open so that ang pressure sulod sa aircraft is pareho sa pressure outside sa aircraft. During sa takeoff, ang outflow valve is keep partially open para ang pressure reduces pero still keep higher than the ambient pressure. The aircraft spends most of its flying time in the cruise phase. Kung ang aircraft is cruising at 35,000 feet, high pressure has to be maintained inside sa aircraft by adjusting the outflow valve. More specifically, the pressurized sections of the aircraft will be maintained at a much higher pressure when compared to the ambient pressure. The pressure in the pressurized sections will be same as the pressure we will feel at the 8,000 feet. Kaning 8,000 feet is gitawag siya as the cabin altitude. At this cabin altitude, ang pressure is comfortable and naa na siya enough na oxygen available for breathing. Ang cabin altitude cannot go up about 8,000 feet as the oxygen content in the air will not be sufficient for humans. Ang cabin altitude cannot go below 8,000 feet kung ang aircraft structure is strong enough. This is because there will be a severe increase in the pressure difference between the pressure inside sa aircraft and the ambient pressure, which could result in the structural nga damage. While munaog na ang eroplano, ang outflow valve is fully closed para ang pressure sulod sa aircraft kay mo increase. Kung ang aircraft touches down on the ground, ang outflow valve kay mo fully open para ang pressure inside sa aircraft is same as the ambient pressure. Ang control sa outflow valve, that is the opening for closing, is done by a pressure regulator. Ang movement is based on inputs from the flight computers that give information about takeoff, climb, cruise, descent, and landing. In case of failure of the outflow valve, naaray safety valves sa aircraft na mo prevent sa cabin pressure from going too high or going below sa ambient nga pressure. Sa sulod sa cockpit, indications are given in case of failure of the outflow valve. So the cabin pressure being too high or too low, or the failure of the regulator.